Good morning.
Hello.
We will get started shortly, but thanks for being here.
Thank you for the invitation. Hey, good afternoon to our Eastern Standard folks. It's still good morning to our Central Time Zone colleagues here. I will kick us off and we'll hand it over to Alicia Taylor, our wonderful administrative support superstar, to lead the effort for today's conversation. Thank you for the panelists and everyone that joined in and all the individuals that are listening. And we'll give it one more minute as people hop from one meeting to another. But I hope everyone's 4th of July went well. Hope you guys were able to take in a long weekend if it was possible, because today kind of feels like a Monday, but we're halfway through. So before I hand it off to Alicia for today's program, I wanted to mention a couple things. One is, I think you all listening in today and those participating in various sorts of work-based learning activities, primarily internships. It is a very necessary activity to do because the US internship rate has gone down since the pandemic. I think only about 22% of youth and college students are participating in internships. We know that work-based learning opportunities such as internships are vital to individuals being connected to the workforce system and fill in those gaps for their growth. So I very much think it's a timely moment for all of us to come together and talk about ways that internships are being done in Kentucky and ways they can grow. And then the second thing, when we talk about work-based learning opportunities, the key there is work, and the key has to be around employer involvement. You can't have a work-based learning opportunity, an internship, an apprenticeship without the employer at the heart of that the program. And so for you all that are connected to the workforce system, to the employers that participate in different work-based learning opportunities, I wanted to make sure you all are aware that the state, through the Education Workforce Collaborative, had a statewide conversation on ways to make sure we as a state are fully embracing all points of work-based learning. And the outcome was that when we think of employers and their understanding of what work-based learning is, they're not aware of all the terminologies or where they need to go to gain the resources needed to embrace various points of work-based learning. So the Kentucky Department of Education, with the Education and Labor Cabinet, has a work group specifically there to create a common platform, a common terminology list that employers can embrace and utilize. So we from the workforce system do not confuse employers when we talk about work-based learning opportunities. So we wanted to extend an offer for our employers on the line to join this work group led by Dr. Hargis of the Kentucky Department of Education to carry that work forward. So please let us know at the KWIB, let Alicia, let me, let Debbie know of your interest, and we'll plug you in into the work-based learning ecosystem work group. Because we cannot do this without employer involvement, without the employer being at the center of all these work-based learning. With that, I'll get off my podium here and pass it on to Alicia to kind of start the show off and share everything that we have in store for you today.
All right, awesome. So again, for anybody who is just hopping on, again, my name is Elisha Taylor. I am the Partner Spotlight. Just so you know, the purpose of these monthly partner spotlights is to lift up best practices where our partners have taken and uh, innovative approach to solving common problems. And each month we focus on either a subject or a theme. And this month we are focusing on internship possibilities. Today for this partner spotlight, we have a presenter, which is Mr. Christopher Locke, the senior the senior director at Summer Works, Kentuckiana Works, from the Kentuckiana Workforce Development area. Sorry. We also have our moderator, which is Mr. Roland Thacker. He is the business service manager from the Bluegrass Local Workforce Development Area. And then we also have a panel for you. And I believe we're actually starting with the panel first. So I am going to let our moderator introduce our panel. Mr. Thacker, you have the floor.
Thank you, Elisha. My name is Rolando Thacker. I'm with the Bluegrass area. And thank you for having us. Happy July 5th to everybody. I know it's right after a holiday, so I know a lot of you guys are probably tired or excited probably to get your weekend started once y'all just went through a holiday. So thank you for having us. And we're excited to talk a little bit about internships, work experiences, apprenticeships, etc. I do have a panelist here with us today. We have Tiffany Walls with Polymer Summit, John Daughtery with Amtech, and also Erica Sluter with Goodwills of Kentucky. So Elijah, I don't want to mess any of this up. So you tell me how long do I have and what can I go ahead and get started with the panelists?
You can go ahead and get started with the panelists. I am actually not sure how long Debbie said. Alisher, do you remember? Was it 20 minutes?
Yep, if 20 to 30 minutes, Rolando, if you can take that time, and then afterwards we'll have Christopher Locke from Kentuckiana Works go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much. So we'll go ahead and get started. So my first question, just to get to know the panelists a little bit better, and I'll go ahead and get this question started with Tiffany, and then Erica, if you don't care to go after her, and then John, if you don't care to wrap us up with the first question here. So the first question is, could each of you take a few minutes and tell our guest about your business, why you chose internships as a pathway for employment with your business, as well as what has worked and what are some of the challenges you faced with it? Tiffany, if you don't care to start us off, and then Erica, if you don't care to piggyback off of her, and then John, I'll let you wrap that first question off.
Absolutely. So Summit Polymers is an injection molding manufacturing company. So we make interior automotive parts. Our whole premise around internships, obviously in manufacturing, there are a lot of engineering positions that are necessary for us to function and keep our business alive. So our internship programs range anywhere from freshmen to seniors. I think a big success for us is allowing the younger grades, the freshmen and the sophomores, into our internship program. There's not a lot of places out there bringing people in on that level, so that gives us a broader group to pull from. I think the big challenges are just finding the interns. There's, I know Handshake is a great platform, but it can tend to be hard to find people. I think a lot of times people just apply to everything that's out there. So by the time you get to them, they've already taken on a different internship. But the good thing, and I think another good point for our internships is with engineers, we rotate them through all the different areas of engineering. So quality engineering, manufacturing engineering, or molding engineering. So they get to see the full scope of what engineers can do. And that really helps them, make a better informed decision on what they want to do with their careers. The other thing that Summit does is apprenticeships. So we have apprenticeships for our tool makers and our maintenance technicians. I think that is a huge thing because those are both areas where the workforce is aging out and we aren't getting enough people to replenish those positions.
Thank you, Tiffany. Erica, I'm going to ask you the same question. Can you tell the guests here on here today a little bit about your business, a little bit about you, why you chose internships as a pathway of employment, as well as what has worked for you and what are some of the challenges you might have faced with it?
So, hi everyone, Erica Sluter. I'm with Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. I'm actually a mission integration manager and work mostly with internal staff that already are employed with Goodwill. However, I do dabble externally as well, helping to recruit and retain talent and individuals that need assistance at Goodwill. We help those externally as well. So our mission is obviously to help anybody that in reducing those barriers and giving them that hand up. So we have several programs to help not only get them internally into our stores through our external opportunity centers, but then once they get there, either promoting them through what we call a ramp program internally or ramping them up and out. And so the partnership with the Career Center for Interns has been great because it's helping us identify clients that maybe aren't coming through our doors or applying to our positions in general, because they just see us as a retail operation, not as a nonprofit training institution. So we do pride ourselves in the training that we do. And with my experience with our local workforce development committee in and around Bull County, just tapping into that, untapped workforce that we're not getting on an everyday basis. And so partnering with the Career Center and getting the internships through them has been, tremendous help to us for staffing needs, because I'm not the only one, Goodwill is not the only one that has struggled with getting and retaining talent. And even if we can train them from the bottom up, again, we have that internal program. So once we get them in and trained, we can help promote them up or out of Goodwill. We also partner with some other individuals. So like this summer, we're also working with Lexington Fayette Urban County Government and their internship program. I think we have 30 kids. They do have to be 16 years old to work with us at Goodwill. And another thing too is, they may not just want to work in retail. So we have several different positions that are just not retail driven. So we had administrative, we have our career coach navigators. We're even training folks externally to get their CDL license. So whatever pathway they choose, we're going to help them with our career coaches build that path. And we've also had individuals that are working in our stores going back to school, and then they need an internship opportunity that collaborates with their degree. And so we're helping with that in that nature. Again, it's going to be the untapped workforce that we're looking for, and reducing the turnover. And so if we can hold their hand through the process, that's what we're going to do. Now, granted, it's not for everyone. We have learned that as well, but we're still going to push through the challenges.
Thank you, Erica. And John, I'm going to wrap up this last question or this first question with you. So John, if you don't care to tell our viewers here today, just take a few minutes, tell us a little bit about you, what you do with your business, why you chose internships, work experiences or apprenticeships, as a pathway for employment with your business, as well as what has worked for you and what are some of the challenges you face with it?
Thank you, Orlando. Yes, John Reddy with Amtech. We are an electrical contractor. We work nationwide. That being said, no, this is not this type of work's not for everyone. We build large buildings across the nation, electrical construction, commercial based, not residential based. We do not do houses. We have been working and the catchphrases are out there, right? Co-ops, internships, pre-apprenticeships. For as long as I have been with this company, since the 90s. We actually started a pre-apprenticeship program back in the 90s. We called it Quick Start. We bring people in from all walks of life, basically provide them some training to get them ready to come to work. That's kind of with our type of work. You just show up and go to work. You have to be pre-trained before we put you on a real construction job site. So working with the school systems over the years, working with different career center ideals in the more recent future has been a blessing, because in the past, AMDEC has been taking care of it out of our pocket, bringing people on, paying them, paying for the training, paying for everything. And then at the end of all this cost that we incur, the percentage of actually people who stay with us is very low, because once they realize, oh, you really meant for me to go out of state. I didn't realize that you really meant for me to actually leave my house and stay somewhere else. So yeah, it's been a really, percentage-based downturn through all different efforts we have done. But since we're growing and the Career Center folks to, kind of pre-select and do some internships in-house, that has just been because we're kind of doing that, and the Career Center linkage, some hospices by the Career Center that they're helping out with, and that helps us find the actual people who want to stay with us, because we have a lot of baggage. We have a lot of problems with a lot of people who are currently not employed or are underemployed. They look our direction and say, hey, I want an electrician because I know electricians make good money. Okay. But then when we tell them that we want them to go out of town and they get a per diem package, but they need to have money in their bank account, they need to have transportation before they go out, and they need to have tools, and you have to work attire, and you have boots. That's just a problem for most people that come out of restaurants. I mean, I need to buy a $200 pair of boots. I have to have a car that actually runs and drives and can make it out of state. These are problems that we have to deal with. So having internships that we do, one, put money in these people's pockets. We give them some financial advice through our trainings to make them know they need to have money, they need to have transportation. So when they start on the make, once they're out there, they make really good money. Film packages are what they have, but they don't have that good transportation up front. So the internships are just fantastic to make sure these people have financial ability before we can actually put them on a real job. So the internships has been great. And we're currently just a little keynote here. We have the Career Center folk at my place right now. We've got 21 people in a pre-apprenticeship program today where I'm at. Doing virtual reality training with Career Center people right now. Internship next week, people is going to go to real jobs right now.
Thank you, John. And I think we lost you a little bit there throughout the your answers there a little bit, John. I think your connection was in and out a little bit, but we were able to. I was at least able to gather a lot of what you said. But we're going to go to our second question here really quick. And again, I won't try to take up too much time, so I'm going to try to shorten the question up a little bit. I know that you guys kind of answered a little bit on that first question. It kind of ties in a little bit into the second question. I want to talk a little bit about the process, but instead of just focusing so much on the process, I want to honestly ask a little bit, are there any type of organizations that you're involved with as far as the recruitment process? So for instance, are you involved with school systems or the justice system? And how do you utilize those entities to recruit potential interns or work experiences or apprenticeships? So are you working with the school systems or the justice involved, or both, or are there other ones that I did not mention on there? Tiffany, I'll go ahead and get started with you, and then again, I'll keep that same. I will keep the same order, and then I'll go with Erica, and then John.
Yeah. So I've done a lot to try to establish relationships with the local schools. So in my past employment, I worked with Fayette County Schools a lot through their academies programs. They have lots of great high school career paths that point people in the right direction of what they want to do long term. So they've been a valuable resource. I have connected with Trailblazer Academy, which is in Mercer County, that services Mercer and Anderson County. They are more on the skilled trade side, so they do have tool and die making programs. They have welding, they have mechanical, automotive repair, and those are high school kids who are going in and getting that experience prior to even graduating, so they are able to come out of high school with a broad base of experience to come into apprenticeship programs, internship programs. So I've tried to connect as much as I can with those schools and educational institutions. Obviously, I connect with University of Kentucky, University of Louisville, connect with Goodwill. I just was talking to Erica just the other day. So yeah, and we are a second chance employer as well. So any recovery networks, recovery houses, people who are trying to help people with boundaries to employment, all of those have been great resources for us. And I think I answered that question.
You did. Thank you, Tiffany. Erica, same question for you.
Well, I'll piggyback on Tiffany though, because a lot of that is like a ditto statement. So doing different partnerships across the state, since Goodwill is across the state. We have 68 stores, a few outlets. We have our opportunity centers all across the state. So we're working with One Kentucky. They're justice involved, of course, Lexington Fayette Urban County Government, you all with KCC, and then we have any of our career services and directors across the state. They're working with the schools and area tech centers, or they're on some type of local workforce development committee. I also have a tapped resource with SHRM. So anytime our groups are doing something in our local chapter, we're promoting those internships with all of our HR members. And when they come to us, we're trying to just build it as we go. We're good about that too. We're a second chance employer, and again, we have the expungement clinics. So if they're eligible, once they reach that point that they meet eligibility criteria, we're doing that. And then the internships themselves allow us at Goodwill to be able to teach those essential skills to move to the next level for future employment, and hopefully place them into positions like Tiffany's mentioning, with manufacturing, giving them the tools to success there and preparing them for those expectations when they get their, real job.
Thanks, Erica. John, let's wrap it up with you with this question. And then after this question, I have one last question, but we'll do it pretty quick. So maybe we can open it up for a Q&A for everybody on here that's listening and that may have a question or two for you guys. So John, if you don't care to answer the question.
Yeah, we are officially linked with multiple ATCs across Kentucky. And we have agreements with certain schools like PRP in Louisville and Southside here in Fayette County, and Irvin, Estill County, a couple different ones, Powell County. We're linked up with many schools. Anything that's career and technical education for the electrician career path, we are linked with. Of course, we're linked up with Rowley, and Rowley's linked up with everything else. So secondarily, everything else that Rowley's part of, and Career Center, and second chance willing to help with. So anybody went up with just about everything, and that went up with so thank you. Absolutely. The rest of the question, really.
John, I think we're losing you.
Okay.
I think we lost you, John. Okay, we'll go ahead and move into our last question really quick. And we'll go ahead and start with Tiffany, Erica, and then John. John, sorry, I think we lost you. It looks like you came back now. And folks, just remember, we did have some awful weather not too long ago, and I know some of us folks are still trying to gather some power and electric and everything else in between. So just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and finish up our last question here really quick. And again, it'll be a simple question just for the viewers here today. If there is a business out there listening in today, what are maybe some guidance or advice that you would give them, or maybe your top 3 most important things about having a good internship program that you would give out there to our businesses listening in today? Tiffany, if you don't care to take that question, and then we'll go with Erica and then John. And I think we might have lost Tiffany.
Did we? Oh, there she is.
There she is.
All right, hear me now.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I think the biggest thing is structure. I've done internships in the past with previous companies where there was no real set standard for what that person was going to do when they got there. I think that's huge. Also, I think making it as diverse as possible, making sure that the intern is getting to see as much of the area of focus as possible. And the other big thing is making sure that you're getting insight from your interns on what they actually want to learn, instead of just putting them in whatever you really need done. It should be a partnership. They should be getting something out of it as well as you.
Thank you, Tiffany. That's actually a pretty good point. Getting the feedback from the individual who's receiving the internship. We always tend to think of the business and, what's the business getting out of it? But, we don't tend to think of the actual job seeker or the individual who's receiving the internship. Erica, if you don't care to take that question really quick, and then John will wrap it up with you.
Yeah, Tiffany's on point today. So when we bring in interns, we there's usually like a subcommittee of some sort, a point of who that supervisor, who that individual is going to report to, and 2 backups, so that it's more structured for identifying the responsibilities. The last thing we want to do is have an individual come in there and they're getting directed to do 2 or 3 different things that wasn't laid out on the table for them as guidelines. So we do that. I also try to partner the interns with various or different managers or different leads, because while we have the same protocol for various things, but maybe the way they do it is a little more efficient, and just pick up on different ways that you can approach situations, especially if they're working in our career services, not just in retail. And then we found too that we need to offer some flexibility, and that's what we do have with Goodwill in general, is the ability to work around their schedules, identifying their availability and making sure we pair them with the right person at the right time. And so we're open 7 days a week, so it does kind of work out for us that we can move them around a little bit, since our hours are 9 to 9 in most locations.
Thank you, Erica. And then John, we'll wrap up the last question with you. Again, if there's any advice that you can give to any business out there, what are maybe the top 3 most important things you can let a business know about participating either in an internship, work experience, or in an apprenticeship program?
Okay. Hopefully everybody can hear me. The first thing is patience. definitely patience. A lot of the employers, leaders, managers of existing places, even here, they're not used to dealing with younger people. So a little bit for us, we kind of got to take a new approach to the younger people because construction workers, we're kind of a special breed, and the younger people don't, mentally like some of that ideal. So we kind of got to take a little more patience with them. We have to deal with, and another thing with patience is for us, everything is math and science, and our outcome from the high schools is lesser than we really want. The math idea for sure. So more patience in the math. We actually have to add additional math classes in our internships and our apprenticeship to get our people up to what we would need them to be. But for the apprentice or slash intern person, we want a good structure, and we do. We have a good structure of what we expect them to know. Goal setting is part of that. We tell them what we look for them in the future. At this point in time, we're hoping you at this level, at this point in time, we give them a whole rollout. For us, we can do that 7-year plan and say, hey, we do this level, at this time, this level. So we can give them goal setting ideals. And of course, we are kind of special. We are a trainer / employer together. So that's all we do is train our employees. So it's structure and goal setting and patience would be my 3 things.
Thank you, John. And I want to thank again Tiffany Walls, Erica Sluter, and John Daughtery for participating in the panelists today and answering my questions that I had for them. But I will open it up right now. I don't know how much time we have or how much time we still have available, but if there's a question or two out there that anybody wants to ask them, this is the time now. If not, then I guess I'll turn it back over to Elisha and Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
And Rolando and John, Erica, and Tiffany, thank you all for that perspective. And I'm very glad to hear the worker side too. It's a partnership between the employer and the worker to make a successful relationship and employment opportunity. And I wanted to state again that we are coming up with the best way to approach work-based learning and want your involvement in this creation to make sure we're all speaking from the same terminology book. So please consider having the conversation with the state and joining in that work. Definitely that employer perspective is key to make it work. So I want to put it out there. And I'll push it back to Alicia for the next conversation, but thank you all from the Bluegrass area for running such a great show and sharing with us how you're doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We will be passing the floor to Mr. Christopher Locke from Kentuckiana Works. He will be presenting for us, and you are co-host. You have the floor.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Chris Locke. I'm the senior program manager for the SummerWorks program here in Louisville. I had a couple of direct questions from Debbie Dennison. I think they were pretty much, what is SummerWorks? How do you sign up employers and how it's funded? So I'll try to share the screen and see if it works, and I'll just kind of, those questions are embedded in this, and then I can just go through a little bit about the program and then see if there are any questions, if that works for the host. Let's see if I can.
Yes, that is fine.
Okay. See if this comes up. Can you let me know if you can see the screen?
We don't see it yet. It says that you are sharing, but it just has your name and title. Okay, we can see it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, so apologize. I apologize in advance. I don't know what it is. I normally don't have allergies, but the last couple of years it's been tough. And yes, this weekend was really tough for me. So I apologize for my voice if that come. So anyway, I was asked to come and do a quick presentation on the SummerWorks program. And so, as I said before, I really appreciate this opportunity to do so. The SummerWorks program is a youth summer jobs program that's led by Kentuckiana Works in partnership with Louisville Metro Government and Youth Build Louisville. And the program is designed to help Louisville's young talent in preparing them for connecting them to safe, high quality summer jobs, and when available, career pathway internships at local private sector companies and nonprofits. I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. So here at Kentuckiana Works, it starts at the top. We're always trying to think big, and we're relentlessly experimenting. And the SummerWorks program kind of is really sets the stage for that ability to do those things. And there you see our mission and our vision for young people. So just a few of the program basics that you see there. The program started in 2011. We're currently in year 13. Our eligibility is actually kind of liberal in the sense that Louisville residents 16 to 21 will authorize to work in the United States, and they primarily have to complete the full SummerWorks registration form that's at summerworks.org. We have two categories of young people, of youth that we work with, and there's a sponsor group or subsidized group of young people who participate in the jobs and internships. And they earn digital badges, and they also do job readiness training. Our program duration, it depends on our budget, but this is my 6th summer. We were 7 weeks when I initially came. We've adjusted the program to 6 weeks, and that has to do with us increasing the hourly wage. But those are for the subsidized side of our house with our subsidized jobs. And the private sector jobs can have a longer duration. So most times those private sector opportunities last 6 to 7 weeks as well, but we highly encourage them to extend the opportunities for young people year round if possible. The hourly raise that we currently have for our sponsored cohort is $12 an hour. Our work schedule averages about 30 hours a week. If it's a 6-week program, the max is 180 hours. And if it's a 7-week program, the max is 210 hours for those work assignments. Youth and young adults, once they are on the platform and have registered on the platform, they have to do that before they're able to see the job opportunities that we have. And they submit resumes and applications directly to employers. On the other side, with employers, they post their employment opportunities. They post their job opportunities, and I'll go back to this slide in a moment. They go back to their job opportunities by going on to summerworks.org. That's how easy we make the sign up. They also hire by simply going to summerworks.org. So that's the first thing they do, post the opportunities, and those exposed to our youth and young adults. Private employers, they determine the wage that for the young people for the summer employment opportunities. And we always encourage them to set the wage higher than the minimum wage. And almost in every case, that is the case. Sponsored employers, they are supported by job coaches. Private employers have the option to leverage our job coaches if they're interested in doing that. Like the question that Debbie posed, how is SummerWorks funded? As you see, it's generously supported. We get $1 million from Louisville Metro Government, the mayor and Metro Council annually. And then we also raise about $500,000 from private philanthropy, which includes our local foundations and also individuals. In some cases, there are resources that are provided by the schools in partnership with the schools and also with the employers directly who decide that they want to go through our infrastructure to pay young people for entry-level jobs or internships. This year, 2023, the budget that we worked with was $1.5 million. Just in terms of the benefits to the employers, well, let me back up. The benefits to employers are pretty clear. It builds the future workforce through a coordinated youth talent pipeline. It gives new and young supervisors and managers, I heard that mentioned earlier, an opportunity to kind of grow and to provide mentorship opportunities to incoming employees. It also adds talent to the team members, and I'll say diverse talent in the sense that the energy and the ideas that some of these youth and young adults can bring to those companies and organizations. And it also, for us, supports Kentuckiana Works and our community-wide efforts around racial equity and broader inclusiveness. As far as the benefits for young people, we know it's about earning money in some cases, but it's also about getting real-world experience, building a network and resume, meeting new people and mentors, and gaining career skills. In addition to, in many cases, we really wanted to be about these companies and a mentor or supervisor being a long-term reference for these young people. So here you just see some of the SummerWorks employers at a glance. On the left side, you see some of the industry-leading companies that participate in SummerWorks. Those are all private companies. I won't read those off to you. Some of those have been long-standing partners with the SummerWorks program for over 10 years. Others, and each year we recruit new and additional employers. And then on the other side, you see what we call our sponsored or subsidized organizations that also serve as employers, where we are able to develop kind of work and learn opportunities for young people to participate in that are also aligned with pathways. So in both cases, where possible, we're always trying to align pathway opportunities with these entry-level positions or these internships that we afford to young people. This is just some quick slide on the SummerWorks direct placements over the history of the program. We are excited about the fact that, over the life of the program, almost 8,000 young people have been directly placed in the program with these employers that we're talking about, both the subsidized and the private employers. And then the next slide is just about what we refer to as indirect employers. These are employers that have been a part of the SummerWorks network, where they hire directly, or in cases where they are, like for example, a UPS would also have our age cohort hired during the summer, 16 to 21-year-olds who are working there. So over 40,000 young people in the life of the program in that respect. But to put a bow around it, the data confirms for us and what many of us know from experience that we worked in partnership with Kentucky Center for Stats, K-Stats, and did a kind of a longitudinal evaluation and was able to find that students that participated in the SummerWorks program were more likely to graduate from high school, more likely to enroll and stay enrolled in college, and more likely to be employed and stay employed after high school. And for us, that's a big deal and an important point about the program. But there are a whole bunch of intangibles that also come from it for both employers and young people. So that's a really quick overview. I can get into some mechanics if need be, but I appreciate the opportunity to kind of present an overview of what the SummerWorks program has been about. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to open the floor to questions, comments. All right, well, thank you so much, Mr. Christopher Locke.
Thank you.
And Alicia, I will comment that, Christopher, thank you for sharing the last point where you studied it with KY Stats on the outcomes, because it's a known thing that if youth participate in an internship opportunity, they have better overall outcome. So the more we can get behind providing the right opportunity, internships, apprenticeships, co-ops, whatever the right opportunity is for both the business and the person, it's a better outcome for Kentucky. So thank you for making that study happen.
Thank you. It's been very valuable for us in using it and sharing it with peers and other communities as well, which they're doing the same thing, trying to make sure that part is brought into their programs. But thank you very much for that. And I just wanted to say I did leave out one point, which was the language maze talked about. We work very closely with the Jefferson County Public Schools and the academies here. And so in trying to tie together, as I mentioned earlier, around the pathways, opportunities, those young people who are taking the sequential classes that they need in order to leave high school with credentials. We're trying to make sure that we connect those young people to employers where we have to. Amtech, I heard them present earlier and talk about their relationship with PRP. So in some cases, we are working directly with the high school academy to make sure we can offer those opportunities in companies that we kind of cultivate relationships with, to connect those two together. So, but I just wanted to make that point. Thank you for allowing me to.
All right. Is there anything to add, Alashir?
Nope, I think very glad and very thankful for our individuals that presented today and the opportunities they're offering our up and coming Kentuckians to get into the workforce system. And I'll put it out there again, as we're trying to create the one place for understanding work-based learning, we need employer engagement to do so. So reach out to us if you want to participate in creating the vocabulary, the dictionary that work-based learning is going to work out of to kind of guide the system. So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, enjoy the short week. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you all next month. Thank you all.
Thanks.